Can you remember where you were when you first sensed God's call to lead a church, serve in pastoral ministry, plant a church, or be a strategic member of a church planting team? The call was likely very real, vivid, and powerful. God invited you to dream big dreams for Him, and you sensed God raising you up to do a mighty work for the honor of His name. I'm betting that you could not wait to get started on this large, kingdom-oriented adventure. Maybe your dreams look something like this. The church you imagined leading would be highly effective. You envisioned that God would use it in big ways to help win large numbers of people to Christ. Lives would be changed, marriages healed, families restored. This church would accomplish much for Jesus' kingdom. You had high hopes for the limitless scope of your church's influence. Following the example of Scripture, your church would be a witness to Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria, and the ends of the earth. Acts chapter 1, verse 8. Meaning, your church would start locally in your community, and then spread its influence to your city, and then who knows how big it would get. Perhaps you imagined that your church would evolve to be unlike other churches. You intended to do church differently to reach a new generation. You would meet people exactly where they were. There would be no stuffy dress code at your church, no baggage from the past. Coffee would be hot. Music would be cool. People would come to your church because they sensed a fresh moving of God's Spirit, and that pull would be irresistible. You sensed that God would move at the core of this work. The new church would gather steam, and there would be no stopping its momentum. Perhaps you dreamed of doing multiple services, or of starting different church campuses and locations throughout the city linked through video feeds. These churches would all flourish, to the point where they, in turn, would start churches of their own. Maybe your dream was eventually to grow to the size where you needed to start your own church planting network. Tens of thousands of lives would be changed. The idea of helping to create a church that reaches out to the world was alluring. You desired to enter a community and be salt and light for the sake of Christ. You looked forward to sharing the gospel and being a force for justice and social action in creative and effective ways. Your vision was truly missional, to introduce Jesus to people and invite them to step closer to Him. Regardless of the specifics of your ministerial dream, it was undoubtedly noble, fueled by good intentions, and confirmed by God and other Christ followers at several strategic places along the way. You were excited to work with the people on your team. They were your friends and colleagues, an energetic group of like-minded visionaries. Every person was committed to the call, and you were certain these people would remain your friends forever. Your denomination was excited. Your spouse was in agreement with the call. Even your kids, if you have them, saw the vision. You all shared the same goal, to plant a church, a highly effective church. This was going to be a powerful work for the glory of God. Dream in hand, you began your ministry. You had heart. Now it's been a few years. How is the dream today? If you were to give an honest assessment, would you say that the work of church leadership is anything like you envisioned it? The loneliest job you'll ever do. All we had when we planned our first church was heart. We didn't have chairs, let alone a sound system. We borrowed coffee pots and sat on cafeteria tables. We used the music stands from the band room, and everyone had plenty of time to stare at the name of the school painted on the lectern. We didn't have much, but we had heart. We were thrilled that anyone would even come to our services. Our welcoming committee formed a human gauntlet at the front door to hug attendees. By the time a newcomer was seated, he or she would have been hugged at least 12 times. Later, when people described us, they said, "You'll know those New Hope people. They hug everything within 10 feet.